from NBA Communications in New York. Thanks for joining us today. We have Kobe Bryant with you and ready to go. Like I said, we'll do about 25 minutes here and get as many questions in as possible. If you need to ask a question, please dial *1. And with that being said, we could go to our first question.
Thank you. Our first question comes from the line of David Chinalato with NBA Italy in Italy. Please go ahead.
Hi, Kobe. What I want to know is that you said in the past you didn't want a farewell tour when you retired. Now that you have announced you're going to retire at the end of the season, a farewell tour is basically what you're getting every time you go outside the lake. How is it feeling?
It feels great, actually. I mean, it's I don't really consider it much of a tour. And, I think it's the way it's been going has been so beautiful. I mean, it's just like, I'm paying my respects to the fans, and they're doing the same in turn. And I just think it's just a beautiful moment that takes place, after 20 years of playing, to be able to, for me to say thank you to them and then to say thank you back. I couldn't have imagined it being any better than it is.
Thank you. Our next question is from the line of Shen Yang with Tencent in China. Please go ahead.
Kobe, first, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Yes, in the past 20 years building your legacy, when you step off the court for the last time as a player, what would you leave behind for yourself? And the more important, what would you take this year?
Well, I think what I leave from behind, I don't know if I'd leave anything behind outside of the physical representation of what my 20-year career has been, right? So, the training, the actual act of going out and playing and scoring and defending and doing those sorts of things, right? Kind of like the shell of who I've been for the last 20 years. I think that's what I leave behind. But what carries on with me is the spirit that represents those physical manifestations. So the understanding of perseverance, of how to deal with failure, how to handle successes, understanding how to communicate with others, understanding how to understand others, empathy, compassion, things like that. Those are things that I'll carry with me forever. So although I'm leaving behind kind of like the physical shell of what I've been for 20 years, everything else I'm carrying with me forever.
Thank you. Our next question is from the line of Doug Smith with Toronto Star in Canada. Please go ahead.
Hello, Kobe. Thanks for doing this. I appreciate it very much. Adam Silver said last week that he would very much like to have you involved in All-Star Weekend. With no disrespect, if you're not voted in by the fans or selected by the coaches, would you like some sort of honorary role in the last All-Star Weekend of your long career? No. Well, sorry, I'm kind of a little tickle in my throat. I think I've been very fortunate to have played in so many All-Star games. And, for me, to not be voted in, I know it's hard really to process, but when I say that I'm completely fine with that, because I've had an amazing run, right? And at some point you have to be able to be okay with letting that go, and you have to be okay with passing the game along and doing all you can to help the game continue to grow and continue to evolve, right? So, that's my way of letting you know that I'm completely fine with whatever role I'd have at All-Star Weekend.
Thank you. Our next question is from the line of Lucas DeMaio, ESPN Brazil in Brazil. Please go ahead.
Hello, Kobe. So, what were the top 5 best players and the best team you faced in your career in the NBA?
Let's see. Top 5 teams that I've faced, I'd probably say I'll answer the last question first. I think I'll always be around, and not just from a Lakers standpoint, but also just for players around the league, just to be a mentor and continue to talk and help them out through things. I mean, I've done that for a while now, and I'll continue to do that. In terms of the Lakers, I mean, the Lakers are going to continue to represent what they've always represented, which is excellence. I mean, they've always stood for that. They've always stood for winning championships, and that being the most important thing. And, Magic represented that. I happen to represent that, and the next player will represent that as well. So I don't see that changing much at all. I mean, we'll obviously go through periods of rebuilding and things of that nature, but, the core of the organization of the franchise will always be the same, which is winning.
Thank you. Our next question is from the line of Benny Bonsu with BBC World Service in the UK. Please go ahead.
Good evening, Kobe. The last time you were in Africa was in 2010 for the World Cup. With your retirement, would we be seeing you gamble more in the NBA global events in Africa?
Well, yeah. I definitely plan on helping the game spread and helping kids all around the world understand the kind of the metaphors that come along with the game, right? And I growing up, I was a product of that, growing up overseas. And so, when I step away from the game, I definitely look forward to visiting places like Africa and be able to teach the game and all that surrounds it. So yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question comes from the line of Mauro Bavacqua with Official NBA Magazine in Italy. Please go ahead.
Toby, thanks for doing this. That you only won the MVP trophy once in your career. And how many MVP titles do you think before the year, other than 2008, obviously, when you felt that you should have won it?
I'm sorry, I kind of lost you throughout the question. You were breaking up on me.
Mauro, try one more time.
Yeah, I say that I'm shocked that you only won the big trophy once throughout your career.
Mauro, we can't. Mauro, it's Mike. You're breaking up on the call. We're gonna have to go to the next question.
Thank you. Our next question is from Tim Rich with independent newspaper London in the UK. Please go ahead.
Hello, Kobe. Thank you very much for giving up your time to talk to us. When you do retire, will there be a certain relief that you won't have to put your body and your mind to all the pressures that come with being a great basketball player, or will you actually miss the tension of being an elite athlete?
That is a very complicated answer. It's not the healthiest of choices to me to be able to live this way. You know what I mean? And I think I'm one of the people that actually enjoy it. It's a certain aspect, like when the summertime comes around, for example, and you're not in that frame of mind, you realize how peaceful and how relaxing life can be. But then you're also not comfortable because you're used to and you like being that feeling of constant pressure and constant training and body being sore and always, worrying about the next game or whatever, right? So there's something that there's like an adjustment period, I think, to not being able to have this type of pressure, not being able to have those moments that I think is going to be a bit of an adjustment.
Thank you. Our next question is from the line of Michael Chapman with Sydney Morning Herald, Australia. Please go ahead.
Hey, Kobe, just wanted to know, sort of given the way you handled the expectations so well throughout your career, I'd like to know what sort of advice you'd have for someone like Ben Simmons, who's coming in as a potential number one draft pick next season, and also if you've had a chance to watch Ben, what are your impressions of him?
I think he's a fantastic player. I think he has obviously a tremendous amount of potential. The key really is just loving what you do. I mean, that's the magic of it, man. Is really loving it, and you love it when you actually enjoy the process of it all. So if you love getting ready, if you love training, if you love preparing just as much as you love the end result
News in China. Please go ahead.
Hi, Kobe. I come from Shanghai, and you came to Shanghai almost every summer. I just want to know, after you retire, so do you have more specific plans to come back to Shanghai or China to do more activities?
No, I do. I definitely plan on coming back more and continuing to teach the game, continuing to help the kids, not just about the game of basketball, but understanding all that surrounds the game of basketball and the potentials that are there as well. So, I definitely look forward to coming back there more than I've been able to do in the past because of schedule.
Thank you. Our next question is from the line of Mauricio Codicia with Claire Newspaper in Argentina. Please go ahead.
Hi, Kobe. As an Argentine journalist, I want to ask you about two names. You just said that San Antonio Spurs were one of the toughest rivals you had. So I want to ask you, of course, about Manu Ginobili. What do you think he means to the league and to the Argentine golden generation? And also about Lionel Messi, a football player that you have a kind of relationship with.
Yeah, no, Manu he's been a favorite player of mine for a long time. He plays with the same competitive spirit that I played for, that I played with. He doesn't back down from a challenge. He's not afraid of big moments. He plays both ends of the floor, and he's just been a fantastic player for so many years. And I think what he's done for Argentina, we all know how passionate Argentina is about soccer. But I do think there'll be a lot of great basketball players coming out of Argentina directly because of Manu's influence and because of the inspiration that he's provided. So I look forward to seeing more great basketball players come out of Argentina in the future.
Thank you. Our next question comes from the line of Jan Zude, El Equipe in France. Please go ahead.
Hello, Kobe. Allen Iverson said a few days ago, there will never, ever be another player like Kobe Bryant. Do you agree with that? And if you do you see someone close to you among the young players, for example?
Well, I mean, we're all different players. You know what I mean? We're all different players. We're all different people. I mean, there's never another Magic. There's never another Bird. There's never another Michael. Now there's never another me. Just because we're just different people. I mean, the way I went about it is different. The way that the next player will go about it will be different as well, right? So, we all kind of do things our own way. I think there's a lot of young talent in this league today. I think there's, the game is skewed a little more towards point guard, and there being such a tremendous amount of that being said, I think there's going to be a player that over the next 10 years is going to rise above them all. Maybe, right? There's got to be a player that comes out and wins more championships than everybody else. And maybe there'll be that player, maybe there won't be. Maybe there'll be so much parity around the league. Maybe one player win it one year, another player win it next year, and then kind of go back and forth. So that remains to be seen.
Thank you. Our next question is from the line of Eduardo Shell with Marca Sports Newspaper in Spain. Please go ahead.
Hi, Kobe. Thanks for your time. I was wondering if you think in these past years with all your injuries, do you think if the basketball gods have treated you unfairly? And if there's any chance, you said in the past that you would like sometime playing with Pau in Barcelona, is there any chance that we see that?
So I'll answer the last question. I would have loved to have played overseas for a season, but it's not going to happen. I wish I could have done it, but I can't. Body won't let me, and that's completely fine. In terms of the basketball guys, no, I think we have a very good relationship. I think we understand each other very well, and I think it's our responsibility as athletes to take advantage of the opportunities that present themselves, good, bad, or indifferent. So, whatever comes my way, I'm absolutely able to pivot and to handle those situations and deal with those situations. The injuries that I've had, I've always been able to look at those from a positive light and learn from those things, and also take advantage of opportunities that come as a direct result of those things, other things to focus on, other things to plan for.
line of Pauline Hibote with ABS-CBN in the Philippines. Please go ahead.
Hi, Kobe. Good morning from the Philippines. It's actually Fernando. I just wanted to ask you, what changed in the last 6 games since you announced your retirement? Prior to that, you were shooting below 30%, and now you're shooting almost 50%. Has it been just more relaxing, a more enjoyable tour for you?
That in terms of the shooting percentage? Is that what you're asking me?
Right.
I don't think so. I think it was a matter of my legs catching up, and I think it's a matter of my timing catching up too. I mean, it's very easy for us to kind of get caught up in the emotionality of it all, and kind of forget to look at the tactics of it all and what my body has been through for the last 3 seasons. I mean, my body's been through a lot physically. It's been through a lot, and then on top of the fact, it's very easy to forget that I haven't played because of it. Right? So last 3 years, I haven't really had a chance to play that much in the NBA, and so the timing's off, rhythm's off, things like that. So it was really just a matter of me being patient with myself, continuing to train, continuing to trust the training that I've done all summer and continue to do during the season, and believe that eventually the timing will come back. And I think really that was that's what happened.
Thank you. Our next question is from the line of Eduardo Zobaran with O Globo in Brazil. Please go ahead.
Hi, Kobe. I'm from Rio, and I would like to know if you're coming to the Olympic Games here and repeat what Magic Johnson did in '92, and if you would like to end your career playing along LeBron and Curry.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, it's not something I'm absolutely pressing for, but being part of the Olympics is such a beautiful experience, and I grew up overseas. I grew up in Italy, so to be able to see how basketball became such an international sport firsthand, it would be a beautiful thing, personally, to be able to finish my career on an international stage. With that being said, we'll see how everything goes.
Thank you. Our next question is from the line of Mira Carano, Excelsior in Mexico. Please go ahead.
Yes, hi. I wanted to know, Kobe, which place do you think you will occupy in NBA history after your retirement?
As far as what?
As far as, in history of Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson and everybody, what place do you think you will have in history? Behind them or next to them?
The way I look at it is I try to look at my legacy and how it impacts the future of the game. So not look at my legacy from the standpoint of where do I fit in with the greatest of all time. And to me, that's it's a mute point, and for me personally, it's much of a shallow argument. I think the most important thing and the most beautiful thing is how does your legacy impact the generation of players to come and the generation of players that are currently playing. If I feel like what I've done and what I've stood for these 20 years has impacted the players today and the players tomorrow in a positive way, and in a way that they can then carry that legacy on themselves and impact the generation to follow, I think that's much more significant than where I stand in history.
Thank you. Our next question is from the line of Peter Mitchell with the Australian Associated Press in Australia. Please go ahead.
Hey, Kobe. I wanted to ask you another question about Ben Simmons, but also another young Aussie, Dante Exum, who I think you had a little bit to do with because you have the same agent. I was just wondering if you've spoken to Dante since he tore his ACL, and whether you have any advice for him in overcoming such a season-ending injury. And also with Ben, there's a lot of Laker fans praying that he gets drafted by the Lakers. I was just wondering whether you'd be happy handing the keys over to Ben to the Lakers kingdom.
So with Dante, I've spoken to Dante through our agent Rob, and plan on touching base with him probably over the summer. His head coach is a good friend, and Quinn Snyder, and fantastic young player, and I think he'll bounce back. I think he'll be just fine. And as far as Simmons, it's just a matter of what he wants to take on. It's not about handing over keys or anything of that nature. It's really about the player that's here. Do you have the attitude that winning championships is the only mission? That's the only goal. If you don't win a championship, the season is a failure. And if you have that attitude, this city will absolutely love you, and you'll get this team back to being playing and winning at a level that it's accustomed to.
Thank you. Our next question is from the line of Jim Slater with AFP in the United States. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Kobe. Thanks for doing this. You talked about growing up in Italy and being kind of a soccer fan. Wanted to get your take on the 8-year bans handed down, Platini and Sepp Blatter today. How much do you follow the game now, and do you think the corruption thing going on is a big first step to maybe cleaning house and getting world football in a good place?
Yeah, I think that's always a touchy thing, right? Because you're dealing with such big business, and it's impossible to monitor and manage everything at every step of the way. So I think this is an important first step to clean up the sport. We like to think in our society and in our culture, with life being as tough and as brutal as it is sometimes, that we can escape all of that stuff through the purity of sports, right? Sports is supposed to be an escapism for us all. And when something like this happens, it really damages kind of the emotional Shangri-La that you get from enjoying sports, right? So I think it's the first step. I think there's much more to do, but I'm sure they're on top of it, and I'm sure the sport will be as pure as we once believed it to be.
Guys, we have time for 2 more questions.
Thank you. And our next question is from the line of Max Whittle with The Guardian in the UK. Please go ahead.
Kobe, thanks for your time tonight. Just wanted to ask you about your teammates' reaction when you dunked on Clint Capella. After all you've achieved in your career, what did you make of that? And secondly, what do the Lakers need to do to move on after Kobe Bryant?
Yeah, I mean, how they reacted is pretty much how I was feeling inside. I mean, in the things that I've accomplished, being able to drive and dunk like that after all that my body has been through, was one of the special moments of my career. My body's been through a lot, man. So, to be able to get to the basket and to elevate and finish like that, for me, was personally gratifying. It was a reward for all of the hours that I spent training and working and stretching, and so it felt good to see that hard work pay off. So I was very excited to see them excited. You know what I mean? And then your follow-up question was about the Lakers and what they can do going forward. I mean, what we do going forward is just make smart decisions, make smart choices. Build the team. That's what we have to do. We have to build a championship caliber team. We have to get talent. We have to make smart decisions, smart trades, free agents, acquisitions, things of that nature. We just have to make smart choices.
Thank you. And our next question is from the line of Matt Loeb with Daily Telegraph in Australia. Please go ahead.
Hi, Kobe. Obviously, congrats on a great career. Mate, when you do look back on your career, the respect that you've got across the league, but you've got a big game coming up in Boston, and even though the fans have given you a fair bit of curry over the years, I guess there's also that respect there. Are you looking forward to playing there?
I am looking forward to playing there. That's always been one of my favorite places to play. I mean, the fans are so knowledgeable about the game, and there's so much history in that city. So much history. And, they're extremely conscious of that, as am I. And so, it's always been a special place to play. Playing them in the 2 finals. As a kid, I dreamed about having those moments countless times. And so to go there one last time and play, and to be in that city one more time, is gonna be a beautiful, beautiful moment.
Okay, everybody. Kobe, thanks for joining us today. We really appreciate it. I thought this was fantastic. I know all the reporters around the world appreciate it too, so thank you.
No, you're very welcome, man. And guys, good job
record. They're playing the Los Angeles Clippers this coming Friday. And we're going to have a transcript and an audio file available on Media Central. It'll take a couple hours. We should have it within 3 to 4 hours. If you have any questions, you can email me at mperelli@nba.com. That's the letter M, P as in Peter, PERRELLI @nba.com. And once again, thank you for joining us, and we hope to do it again soon.